What if Fortress was in Gen 1 OU? Now in some ways this is kind of awkward, because obviously in Gen 1 there's no spikes and there's no leftovers. But on the other hand, being a bug and steel type could potentially be pretty useful. Especially with the actually pretty decent attack stat. Kinda makes it to where Pin Missile, well, even if it's Pin Missile, it still might be able to hit decently hard on like psychic types. And then like that defense stat along the steel type is also just amazing, where you can just tank every single like normal move in the game for the most part. So would it be good? I'm not sure, honestly. Once this will get it together. And I already started talking about the base stats, and like, yeah, like I would say they're good enough. Like 60 special isn't anything to go home about, but right home about, I mean, but with the steel typing, at least your psychic moves, it means that you are gonna like tank it like decently well. Or I guess it kind of depends on the psychic type. Like I'm pretty sure like even like Executor can still like do a decent chunk, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Like honestly, that steel typing gives you a lot more survivability than you normally wouldn't. Like Onyx has a really high defense, but it's not like it's doing anything in Gen 1, even with normal resistance. Or what is the difference actually? I'm curious. So 160. Okay, so yeah, so it's okay. So only like 20 points like lower, but like obviously a steel bug is just a better typing just in general, because that bug typing also gives it a neutrality to earthquake instead of being weak to it. And luckily, there's not really any like fire types in Gen 1 other than like the occasional Moltres, so you don't have to worry about that. It just kind of sucks though that out of all the generations to have like no weakness basically. It's in the generation where everything just sort of hits hard, spams like broken status moves, or just like crits. So, kind of sucks, but at the same time, with that 140 defense, you are good at the survival stuff anyways. So what about move pool? Obviously, there's no spikes, which like, if this thing had spikes, obviously it'd be OU, especially if it's the only rapid spinner as well. So it might be kind of weird, but you kind of are forced to use moves like double edge as like your most consistent attack. Obviously, explosion is a must-have. With how bulky you are, I feel you can very much get away with rest. You can probably skip a few turns depending on what you're facing. And then for the last move, yeah, this thing has Hyper Beam. But I think unironically you actually do go with Pin Missile. Because stab Pin Missile on a base 90 attack is, well, against most things, it's still hot garbage. But once it gets psychic types, it can actually do decent damage. So, yeah, like, it's definitely an unusual moveset. Especially for Fortress. Not what we are used to. But it can't be the worst thing in the world, can it? At the very least, like, we're comparing this with the bug types. And compared to like Scyther or Beedrill or Butterfree, yeah, this is it's like way more useful. Although I'm not sure it would be better than Pinsir. But let's find out together, shall we? Starting off, we always start off with the boy. Start off with Tauros. And yeah, you take Earthquakes pretty well. But one huge problem is that your most consistent way of doing damage is, you know, double edge, which gives you recoil, which means that you don't have anywhere near as much longevity as you normally would have. And yeah, like I said before, there's still a lot of crits, so you don't have any weaknesses. It's good you don't have any weaknesses, but that can only take you so far, because considering you can't do a lot of damage to them, and you're taking a lot of recoil most likely, unless you're trying to like get lucky with Pin Missile, they can wear you down. And even with rest, they can still wear you down. So, there's just, yeah, as you see there, if it's not a Psychic type, it just does not hit hard at all. I mean, even that Body Slam against a Steel type of 140 defense, I'm pretty sure that unironically did more damage. Also, Pin Missile isn't 100% accurate. That's also a issue. Yeah. Bug types just suck in Gen 1. Like, I kind of wonder what it would be like if there was like an X scissor in this game. But even then, I kind of wonder if a bug type would even be OU. And like, yeah, what do you even do as Fortress, really? If you're not going against the psychic type exactly, like, you can like do like very minor chip damage, but for the most part, anything can like wear you down. Even if it's like a amnesia wax with ice beam. And then with Chansey, I'm pretty sure like just seismic. I don't know how much seismic toss does. Always like a percentage wise. I'm not sure if like Chansey is a good or bad matchup against Fortress. Kinda hard since both Thorwikes are passive. However, Bolt Beam Chansey is a thing, and it can use Thunder Wave, so like. But then on the other hand, you know, obviously there's Explosion, which probably doesn't kill at full health, although this could very well be a damage range. So I guess the matchup can go either way. I'll be nice. And then other than Chansey, this is probably the... Oh no, this probably is just a better matchup than Chansey. Because it's a Psychic type. It only really uses like those two moves like against Seismic Toss as like its main attacking moves. And with your roll defense means the Pin Missile can actually hit pretty hard. And then luckily with like low health there, like Double Edge is consistent enough to take it out as well. So good job, Fortress. You have a tiny niche, I guess. And then against the Exeggutor, if you miss Sweet Powder, Pin Missile does a decent amount of damage. And if you miss again, you just win. Isn't that nice? Okay, you need like... Okay, both those were 3. So you need 3... So in total, you need 6 Pin Missiles to actually kill the Exeggutor, which is 4 times weak to Bug. Ay ay ay. Yeah, Pin Missile really does suck. That was 6 against the quad weak. Oh, gosh dang it. And also, you're not gonna get that lucky, obviously. Like, let's be honest. How much does, like, Sweet Powder actually miss? Because, like, when you're the one who, like, is getting hit with Sweet Powder, it might as well be Spore. Am I right? And yeah, Psychic hits... Yeah, I would say 23 is, like, pretty good. At least for a resisted hit. So yeah, Eggy, it's probably a bad matchup. Like, though if you want to cope, you can just say it's like, could go either way. And then against Jolteon, Thunderbolt does like half your health, with Explosion one-shots you. So, this wouldn't be could go either way. It's like, I don't know, I guess like a tie, but, it's weird. Just like this. Because like, you got an inaccurate sweep move, and you also have super effective Pin Missile that just like, jack. For the most part, I would say. Even with Jinx's ult defense. But the Jinx's main stab moves, both are resisted by Fortress. But with Sweep, it definitely could, you know, like whittle you down. But if it misses Weapon Kiss, it can also whittle you down with Pin Missile, or I was thinking even Double Edge just decent damage. And I wouldn't be surprised if Explosion one-shots. So yeah, I guess it can go either way, but it's probably in Jinx's favor. And then for Rhydon, you only have Pin Missile to really hurt it. And I say hurt with asterisks. You're not doing anything. So like, yeah, like, basically all you do is just rest and just wait for Rhydon to inevitably crit you. Which, yeah, when it comes to that, like, it's the bug typing does not really help it that much. Because like, yeah, you take Earthquake neutrally, but it's still a freaking Rhydon with like, crazy high attack. So what is even the point here? Like, even with the psychic types, like with Alakazam, it can like wear it down. That's because the best status Alakazam has is Thunder Wave. And while with base 40 speed, you outspeed like Snorlax and Slowbro, for the most part, it doesn't really care. At least about the speed drop. It obviously cares about not getting a free turn in. But yeah, obviously Slowbro, it might be weak, but has high defense. So, yeah, there's not much you can do. It can, like, build amnesias, but, like, you're not Zapdos or Jolteon. Ain't no way you're gonna crit. And then Surf just murders you. This is even going against, like, some of the ones I didn't even bother like recording. Like, obviously I didn't bother with, like, Gengar or, like, Cloyster, because we already know how those would go. But at the very least with Starmie, I think you can do okay. Like, obviously Starmie gets a crit, you just die. But I think at least one pin missile plus explosion enough to kill it. Which, I would say that's a fair trade. Though, I'm not sure if you would bother using Fortress in the first place. And then finally against Zapdos. Just like Jolteon, it just 2-hit KOs you with Thunderbolt. So there's not much you can really do. And I highly doubt Explosion kills Zapdos at full HP. So yeah, here's the viability. It's definitely cope. Like, you only have like one good matchup. Then you have like 4 that are like, and you just have a whole bunch of bad and unwinnable matchups. Yeah. Fortress might have the steel typing, but I genuinely do not believe it would be better than Pinsir. It would probably be underused, if that. Because even underused, like, what does it even do? Like, Pin Missile is even less valuable in underused. So then it just look what, like, double edges, like something for like 20, like 8 or 20% HP, then explodes. Like, I probably want to say it's disappointing, but also, like, that's just not what Fortress is supposed to do. We all know Fortress as the hazard setter, hazard removal, and the exploder. So maybe it was a little unfair to try to just put it in Gen 1 without its, like, main tools and just expected it to do good. Because, yeah, like, Fortress, it's a good hazard setter, but not necessarily a good bug type. So, thank you for watching. Do you have any other suggestions? I always try to make, like, videos based on your guys' ideas. I enjoy making these still. So, yeah, I don't really have much else to say for this one. This one I think was pretty straightforward. This is Groundback, and I look forward to hearing from you.